I'm getting ready to go to Denton so I can do a second interview and a drug test, as well as introduce some of our candidates to one of our clients. And I wanted to take the opportunity to give a little bit of insight on how we operate, as well as provide some education around skills first hiring. Skills first hiring is basically taking somebody with a non-traditional background that has the skills for the job you are looking to fill, whether that be they are in a skills-based certification class or they are in some kind of technical school. They may have no formal education, or they learned their skills while being in prison. So today we have 3 people. I have this notebook. I love this notebook. It's expensive, but I've been using it for like 10 years to keep everything together because it has all these little places where I can put different categories. But anyway, I'm going to give you an overview of the 3 people that I am presenting to this client. Many times whenever I bring on a new client, I'll say, okay, let's talk about your current background policy. I know you want to open up the talent pool a little bit. What would you be willing to accept? Now remember, you can turn somebody away because of their criminal record. It is not a protected class like gender or religion. So it is up to our clients what they're willing to take and not take. And I want to work them through being comfortable with the type of criminal records they're willing to take, as well as provide them education to lead them in the right direction of how to create that background policy. And so many of our clients will say, well, no violent charges and no sex offenses, definitely not murder, also no theft. And they start going down the line and I'm like, okay, so we have a very small talent pool now, because in reality, what we've seen over the last 10 years, the reality is most people who have nonviolent drug charges or addiction issues, a lot of times those other charges come with that. Specifically with addiction, a lot of times theft go hand in hand with addiction because people are doing whatever it takes to feel better when they are struggling. And also, I'm not sure if you have had any family members that have become drunk during the holidays and a fight break out. That ends up being a family violence or an assault charge. So what we try to do is explain to our clients that when we vet our candidates, we are assessing where they're at today and what's changed. And if we are going to advocate for them, then we're saying we would hire these people personally. So we suggest them for you. In fact, we are hiring them personally because they are technically our employee for the first 90 days or so. And so these 3 examples I'm going to give you, I'm meeting them at the client site. I'm giving them a drug test. The client asked, well, why would you waste money on the drug test if you don't know if we're going to hire them or not? And I said, well, I'd rather waste money on the drug test than waste your time, because we are not going to even submit somebody if they can't pass a drug test. And so to break down the 3 people that we have today, so we have one person who is living in a Christian-based transition house. He was saved in 2023 in a jail cell. That's where he found God. And he has a 2019 aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. That always scares people. Desi, my right-hand gal, who you guys probably know, she also has 2 charges of assault with a deadly weapon. I promise they're not scary people. Usually it looks really bad on black and white paper, but when you look more into what happened, this guy got in a fight with he was in the gang, doing gang activity, got in a fight with another gang member, gun went off and the guy got his foot shot, and he got 5 years sentence for shooting a guy in the foot. We also have another guy here. Obviously, I'm not going to name any names for their own privacy. He has a 2021 assault. He and a family member actually got in a fight, and he also has a 2018 DWI in retaliation. The word retaliation always scares people, just like terroristic threat always scares people. Terroristic threat can simply be screaming at somebody in the front yard, and retaliation can be whenever you're under arrest and you're, in fact, the retaliation is probably a charge that got lowered instead of assault on a public servant, because in this case, it was retaliation as he was being arrested. And then lastly, we have another guy today who has no criminal record at all. He recently graduated high school and he is enrolled in a skills trade class, and he needs a job to help him get his foot in the door in the area that the industry that he wants to get in. He definitely is a fit for this job. He has the skills they're looking for, but he wants to get his first job in the field that he's looking to get into for the rest of his career. So anyways, anything can happen. These people they could not show up for the interview. They may fail their drug test. All three of them could get a job, or the HR person, even though they meet them and they understand the story, they may not want to take the risk and they may turn them down, which is okay. Our job is to only be the middle person that is bridging the gap between what happened before prison and where they're at now, and giving them a fair shot at having employment. This is what Ban the Box intended to do, but in the places that it's a law, in our experience, it not only hasn't really helped, but it's hurt people, because Ban the Box simply means that you can't put, are you convicted of a felony? So you have to go through the entire interview process, then make your decision. I see what they meant to do. They were trying to get the hiring manager to understand who the person was before making a decision. But if that hiring manager doesn't have authority to hire people with criminal backgrounds, or if a policy hasn't been changed, they can still say no. So now this person got their hopes up. They used their bus money or gas money, and they went through an entire interview and everyone's time was wasted. So this is why we take the approach that we take. And it has, so far, we've been in business for 10 years. We only make money if we're successful. We're not a nonprofit. We don't take grant money. We don't raise money. We literally only earn our money if the person that we place has worked out. And so, knock on wood, I don't even want to jinx myself on anything, but all the things that people fear that will happen hiring people with criminal records, none of those things have happened since we've been in business. Yeah, we don't always pick the perfect person and we make mistakes, but at the end of the day, those mistakes or the people that didn't work out, it's no different than the people that we've placed that don't have a criminal record. It's usually something along the lines of poor attitude, could be relapse, could be going back to jail for something they did outside of work, or simply just not showing up to work. Things we all deal with every single day if we have entry-level positions. Anyways, this video is so long. I hope that it was educational, though, for those of you who are considering second chance hiring. That's all I got. Gotta go do these interviews. Bye.